Hello and welcome to another edition of World Talks here on TVP World. I'm your host, Marie Kato. As the war enters a decisive phase, Ukraine faces a precarious balancing act between survival and sovereignty. With the US pushing for a peace deal by June this year and NATO ministers gathering in Brussels, the pressure on Kyiv is definitely mounting. Today, we explore some conflicting reports regarding upcoming elections, an updated roadmap for Ukraine's EU membership, and the deepening energy emergency in Kharkiv. Russia continues to attack Ukraine with at least 9 people, including 3 toddlers killed and 120 drones launched by Russia. Joining us is Yulia Sirko, member of the Ukrainian Parliament's Voice Party. Hello, and thank you so much for joining us.
Hello from Ukrainian Parliament.
So let's begin with the attacks on Ukraine that continue and the fact that analysts see very little movement towards an end to the war. In your opinion, what real indicators should we be watching to understand whether a durable peace process is emerging?
I think the first and foremost point of the peace plan should be ceasefire. We saw energy, so to say, energy ceasefire, but unfortunately it was not true. So we had all these during these 3 and 4 weeks. We have a heavy missile and drones attacks to our energy system, our residential buildings, families. You just saw 3 toddlers and basically in one family and the father killed in one drone strike. So before the full ceasefire will be obtained, I don't think any talks or any discussions about peace deal or elections or referendum can be started. So it's just simply impossible because there is air raids all the time. People are in the bomb shelters. I don't understand how we can do elections in these election campaign and election in these conditions.
President Zelensky says a new round of peace talks could take place on February 17th or 18th. We have discussions reportedly focusing on territory and a proposed free economic zone in the occupied Donbass. What would a realistic and acceptable deal look like for Ukraine? And who should ultimately control any buffer or special economic zone on Ukrainian land?
I think it's obviously that Ukraine should control because this is a part of Ukraine, territorially, administratively, and according to our constitution. So if Ukraine will not control this economic zone or buffer zone, as you said, now it's almost gray zone. So there is no discussion about the peace deal because, I mean, to give it to Russians, so they will convert it into another military base to start another invasion. It's just obviously not in the interest of Ukraine or any European countries.
One of the most difficult challenges that Ukraine is facing is this energy emergency situation. Another regional one has just been declared in Kharkiv. And now, beyond the immediate repairs, what is the government's long-term plan to prevent the total depopulation of the frontline cities due to so-called energy poverty?
First of all, we're in the process of doing distributed energy generation. So with cogeneration, solar energy, wind energy, etc., etc. So there are a lot of projects we are doing now to replace the central energy system to make it smaller. More distributed, so it will be not easy to target it by missiles and drones, and this is the only way how we can restore energy system in Ukraine, and as you said, to keep our population in the cities, as well as to keep our economy and business keep on running. So that's how we see the outcome of this energy crisis, energy genocide, and probably it will be even our future for next 10 to 20 years, at least, when we will have the all distributed system of heating, distributed distributing system of energy supply, distributing system of distributed system of water supply, etc., etc. Leaving to such a huge and angry neighbor, I think it's the only way to survive. Just to have a distributed critical infrastructure will be the only way to survive for the economy and for people.
I want to turn to EU support for a moment. We hear that the EU has approved a 90 billion euro support package for Ukraine. In your view, will this financial aid be enough to meet Ukraine's urgent needs and sustain its defense against the ongoing invasion? What will this package give you?
I think it's enough for next. I think it will be enough to cover the budget gap for next and mostly military needs for next 2 years. And I think it's and thank you for European Union, all European Union countries for that, because we need it badly because of the damaged and destroyed economy, including energy destruction, and I think it will. We can keep and run the state for next at least 2 years for this money, and keep and pay our army, so the army can stand between the Russia and de facto eastern flank of NATO, because we are covering eastern and we are protecting eastern flank of NATO. So army, financing of weapon, as well as paying pensions and social payments will be enough for the next 2 years to survive and keep and run the state.
So today, which is Thursday, February 12th, the NATO headquarters is hosting the Ukraine contact group. Defense Minister Fedorov is attending. What would you say is the single most urgent capability, beyond ammunition that is, that Ukraine is demanding to secure a potential ceasefire line?
I think it's first of all air defense system to cover our civilian population, civilians and cities, and protect our energy and critical infrastructure. And the second is long-range missiles, which we can target Russian military bases, military warehouses, and destroy supply of military needs of Russia on the front line. And also the question about Starlink, so the connection and is also very important, because now basically the drones and the Starlink is a base for the modern war. So that's a very important, I would say, number 3 question to discuss. So air defense, long-range missile, and Starlink and other kind of satellite connections.
I just want to briefly talk about EU membership, which has slightly changed its form now for Ukraine. It's a partial pathway, what is now sort of described as a reverse membership. Will that bring Ukraine closer to membership by 2027? In your perspective, what concrete steps does Kyiv need to take now, and what political obstacles remain within the EU itself?
I think it's mostly political will of European countries, and the obstacles we all know. This is Orban in Hungary and Fico in Slovakia. So I think these 2 countries will block any kind of decision, because they simply have pro-Russian sentiment, I would say. But yes, I think this is one of the probably the best way how Ukraine can be integrated in European Union, partially integrated. And on our side, we have to do our homework to harmonize all our legislation with the European legislation, regulation, standards, to be in line with the European regulations. In this way, we will be added value for asset, not liability for European Union, because we are a huge country with a huge resources, with a huge possibilities, with a huge amount of reconstruction needed. And I think European Union should be the number 1 partner in this difficult but very needed way.
Okay. Yulia Sirko, member of Ukraine's Voice Party, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you too. Bye. Have a nice day.
You too. Thank you. And that's a wrap for World Talks. Thanks so much for being with us, and keep yourselves updated with TVP World. Goodbye.